Good morning, beautiful children. I'm going to teach you how to make a pasta dish with a few ingredients that I've put out in front of me. I did lie and I forgot one of the ingredients, but I'll tell you about that now. The first thing that you need is a box of spaghetti.
Ms. Rubenstein, what if you don't have spaghetti?
If you don't have spaghetti, you can use any other pasta because nobody cares. The next thing that you need is garlic. I told you that you need 12 cloves. This is not a clove. If you got 12 of these, you have enough garlic for the next couple of days. This is a head of garlic. These are the cloves. So you need 12 cloves of garlic. I'll show you how to peel them. The next thing you need, if you like your food to be a little spicy, is some red pepper flakes, the kind that you shake onto pizza. But if you don't want spicy food or a little bit spicy, then you don't need them. The next thing you need is olive oil. This is oil of the olive. That's why they call it olive oil. And finally, you need parsley. There are two types of parsley, and you can get any type you want. This is not a flathead screwdriver. This is flat parsley, and the reason it's called flat is because it's flat. And there's curly parsley, which is curly, and we don't care which kind you have. So those are, oh, and one more ingredient that I forgot to tell you about was the broth. It comes either in a powder like this, bouillon that makes broth, or it comes in a little foil packet like this. Any of those is fine. So those are all the ingredients. Gather them up, and then we'll get started. So I'm going to show you how to handle the garlic. So this is what you do to peel a clove of garlic. You take a knife and you hold it flat. Obviously, if you hold it like this, bad things will happen to you. If you hold it like this, you're going to chop it. And you don't want to chop it. You're trying to peel the garlic. So this is what you do. You put the knife flat on top of it, and then you hit it once with the heel of your palm like this. And that makes it very easy to peel. See how easy that was? Okay, you're going to do that 12 times. Now, if you are super fancy, you might have one of these things. It's a silicone tube. And what you do is you put the garlic inside and you roll it, and the same thing happens. So either way that you want to peel your garlic is fine. After you peel the garlic, and you're going to do 12 cloves, you're going to slice it finely. Slicing it finely means really thin. You're not chopping it. And then after you get to a certain point where you feel like you're going to chop off your fingers, you can turn the garlic and keep going. So these are just really thin slices of garlic. You're going to chop up your 12 garlics into fine slices, just like that. So this is what all your garlic looks like when you've finally chopped it. It's now ready to go. You don't have to worry about taking off the ends. Nobody cares. Remember, nobody cares. So now what do we do with the parsley? The parsley, whether you get flat or curly, has leaves and stems. You could take the nobody cares approach and sort of gather them all together and then cut them like that. You could do that. In fact, you could take the whole entire thing and gather it together and do that and say nobody cares. But the truth is, nobody wants to eat stems in their beautiful pasta. So a helpful thing to do for some of these that are quite thick is grab all the leaves together, grab the stem, and just pull them. And then you have just the leaves. So grab all the leaves, grab the stem, and pull them. And that won't take you very long at all, and it will prevent people from chewing on the really coarse stems. So do that for your bunch of parsley, maybe half the bunch of parsley. You can decide how much parsley you want in your dish, but it should be a lot. This is about how much parsley you need. If you want to gauge, it's about a big fat handful. For to measure things, it's about a cup. And once you've pulled off all the stems, then all you have to do is chop it. So gather it all up, squish it all up in your hands like that, and then start chopping it. Do not chop off your fingers because that will make this a carnivorous dish. We're going for a vegetarian dish.
Why can't you just leave the leaves whole?
If you leave the leaves whole, people will gag on them, and it's a terrible thing to gag on your dinner. So you don't want people to gag on your dinner. Okay, there we are. The next thing you want to do is get 1/4 cup of olive oil. 1/4 cup looks like that. So you can estimate if you want. And we're going to heat it up in this pan. And then we're going to fry the garlic in it. The fun thing to do at this point is to add some of the chili flakes. If you don't like spicy food, don't add any. If you like some spicy food, then you should add maybe 1/2 teaspoon or a little more, like that. Add the garlic and it'll start sizzling and frying as the oil gets hotter. The key with the garlic is that you will burn it. And so you have to assume that you'll burn it. And the way that you'll cook it long enough without burning it is you'll stop as soon as it gets lightly golden. Even though it needs to fry longer than that, if you turn the fire off, the oil is hot enough to continue cooking it. So we're going to wait till it gets lightly golden. So this was cooking for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. That's all it needs. If you go longer than that, it's going to start blackening and then you're going to burn your garlic. So even though this isn't fully cooked, I'm going to turn off the fire and let the garlic stay in the oil, and it will eventually be a nice golden color. So the fire is off, but the garlic is still cooking, and we're just going to put that aside. So this is what the garlic will look like. Remember, I stopped cooking it after about 2 minutes, but it kept on cooking in the oil, and you can see that many of the garlics are a nice golden color, and they look beautiful, and they smell beautiful. Then you bring a pot of water to a rolling boil. A rolling boil means that the water is actively moving like this, and once it's come to a rolling boil, you want to add salt to it. How much salt? A lot. Maybe like that much, or even more, about that much. That's a lot of salt. And the reason that you add salt to the boiling water is that's what Italians have been doing for millions of years, and we don't ask questions. I'm going to put the whole pot of pasta in. And I'm going to gently push them all down. And the box usually tells you how long to cook it for. So it says it will be perfect in 10 to 11 minutes. I would do a little bit less. I might do 9 to 10 minutes. And how do you know that it's well cooked? You take a piece of pasta out of the boiling water and you eat it. That's the only way to know if it's ready.
No, I think you can throw it against a wall.
You can't throw anything against the wall because that's dirty. That's a dirty thing to do. You have to just take a piece of pasta out of the pot and try it and see if it tastes good. You're trying to get it to cook to al dente. Al dente means it's not quite ready. So in this case, actually, I'm going to change what I said. If you were paying really good attention, I'm going to change it. You're going to cook it till before al dente, and we're going to do a little fun thing with this pasta right before it gets to al dente. So let's say cook it for 6 minutes. So while the pasta's cooking, we need 1.5 cups of broth, and this is for the fun secret part. So I'm going to fill this up with 1.5 cups of hot water.
Can you just heat it in the microwave?
You can heat it in the microwave, you can heat it on the stove top. I have an electric kettle, any way to make water hot. And then you're going to add, since this is 1.5 cups, you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of broth. stir it up. And you want this hot because you're going to use it to finish pasta. So the pasta has been boiling for about 6 or 7 minutes. It is not ready. It is less than ready. And the reason for that is we're going to do a very wonderful thing. We're going to take this pot and put the broth in. And now we're going to put the pasta back in to continue cooking. Get rid of all the yucky water. And now you have very little water and a lot of pasta. And this is the part where the pasta really gets a nice flavor from the broth. If you didn't have broth, you could just use salty water, and that's fine. But you're going to keep stirring this until the water evaporates. Do you see how much water there is? You're going to keep stirring it until it evaporates. And when it's all evaporated, then your pasta is ready to go. So I've got the fire up really high. I keep stirring because I'm trying not to burn anything. I don't want anything to stick. And I'm just waiting for all the water to evaporate. So I want you to see that the water is almost gone when I pull back the pasta. There's almost none left at the bottom of the pot. Do not stop until the water has evaporated. That's part of the recipe. So there's no more water left in the bottom of my pan. I'm turning off the fire. And now comes the fun part. Add in all that beautiful garlic oil. Pour it in. Add in the parsley that you chopped. Pour that in. And then stir up your pasta. And now your dinner is ready. Add salt, and you can add black pepper if you like. Buon appetito!